Hello again, it's Jen Pyatt with Keller Realty in Rockwall, part of the Patty Turner Group, and we have been talking about some of the terms in contracts, residential contracts in Texas, and so right now I wanted to talk with you about who is involved in a contract and what you get with the property. So the parties to the contract are the buyer and the seller. So that would be the legal names of the seller or sellers and the legal names of the buyer or buyers. So if you are the seller, you need to make sure that if you have purchased a property and you are married, then the home that you are selling needs to be sold by both you and the spouse. If you have been divorced, then you'll need to have divorce decree that shows that the spouse no longer has rights to that property. But if you've been married, Texas is a community property state. So if you have been married either at the time of purchase or if you got married after you purchased the property, both of you will need to be in the contract listed as the sellers. If you're the buyer, only one spouse can purchase the property if that's how you choose to move forward with your loan, but you just need to know that certain loan types require both of you to be involved, and also you need to know that the spouse will have legal rights to that property. So even if one of you is, let's say only one of you is employed and you don't want to involve the other spouse on the loan, or maybe you're using a VA loan and you have the VA benefits, so you'd like to use that loan type, but your spouse stays at home and maybe does something different. So you don't want that spouse on the loan. They will still have rights to the property. So you just need to know that if you are planning to make a change in your marital status, you need to know that information before you move forward with a contract. So the buyers and the sellers need to have their legal names listed in the contract. And if you're the buyer especially, it's best to get that up front. Talk with the lender to find out who needs to be involved in the contract if you're using a lender. That way you won't have to go back and amend anything. It's easier to just set it correctly in the contract in the beginning than to go back and make a change later that involves getting someone to agree to a change. So the buyer and the seller are the parties to the contract. So those are the people that are listed. And all of the terms in the contract are the responsibility of either the buyer or the seller. So we will talk about those one at a time. The next thing that I wanted to talk with you about today is what comes with the property. So in the contract, it outlines very specifically what would stay with the property. So to put it in easy terms, anything that is attached to the home would stay with the property unless they have excluded it from the listing. So obviously the land that is there and the structure that is there would be what you are purchasing. The contract will outline the legal description, so that's how they will know exactly which piece of land and property that we're talking about, because all the land either has a parcel ID or a legal description. So that's what we need in the contract, so we are precisely talking about the same, both the buyer and seller and the title company are talking about the same piece of property. And then you will also list the address that you know the property as. So if it's 123 Main Street, you would list that as well, in addition to the lot and block if that is available. So the items that would stay with the property, obviously the structure and the land, but then anything that is in that home that is attached to the wall. So now the contract does outline in specifics what those items would include. So a water heater is plugged into the plumbing system, so it is attached. A dishwasher if it's installed correctly, should be attached under the countertop. So that would be connected to the countertop, so it is attached. If you have a bracket that hangs on the wall and it has been screwed and anchored into the wall, it is now attached to the property. So that means your curtain rods and the curtains that hang on them are now part of the property as an accessory. Also, garage door openers or mailbox keys. Some homes are in a subdivision that has a community swimming pool. So if you have a key card access or maybe a bracelet that opens the gate to that community swimming pool, that would be part of the property and it should stay for the new owners. Even things like landscaping stones, of course you can pick up a rock and move it, but it is considered an accessory to the property, so it needs to stay. Now you can exclude things from the listing. So let's say you had cut some flowers from a family member's garden. Maybe you have a grandmother who had a beautiful garden in her backyard, and she had given you some clippings for flowers, and you had transplanted them to your own backyard. Well, obviously for sentimental reasons, you would probably want to take those with you to your new home. So you could exclude the lilies that were planted in the backyard. I don't know if lilies would do very well as a transplant because I do not have a degree in horticulture, but I'm just using that as an example to let you know that if you needed to exclude something, you need to talk with the listing agent about what you would like to take with you up front whenever you prepare that listing to go active. And then make sure that it has been listed there in the contract so that everyone's on the same page and everyone knows what is staying and what should go when the sellers move out. If you have questions about contracts, if you have questions about these topics, about the parties to the contract or the items that stay with the property, feel free to reach out to me. Also, if you have questions about buying or selling, there are a lot of details, and I would love to be the resource for you that helps you through that process. I love helping people, and I'm very passionate about this business and about the people that I work with. So feel free to reach out to me. You can call, text, or email me, and I'd be happy to help you. And I will talk to you all again soon. Thanks so much, and I hope you're having a great day.